Hi guys, so I've got a video for you today. Today I was unsuccessful at my trades, but nonetheless I wanted to make a video to explain why I had entered and what the mistakes were, and hopefully with this video I'll learn myself by talking through it with you guys. So this is the trading view chart for, just to confirm, this is the 17th. Today's date, and you can see down here this was 17th that we are currently going to analyze. So what we had was, I'm on the 1 minute chart because obviously I'm going to show my walkthrough and what I was thinking. Actually I'll jump into the 5 minute chart just to start off with. So we have this. Okay, so what we had was when the market opened, we had the New York open here, and market went down, and then during London session it decided to go up. Now this is the fair value gap at the top side on the daily time frame. I'll show you that in a minute. Actually I'll show you right now. So if I go into the daily chart, yesterday when the candle was here, I was saying that we expect it to hit this fair value gap and possibly even push up and go into this fair value gap. So I went through the two fair value gaps the day before, and what we had was we had the market push up, as you can see here. So we had news, the Bank of Japan news came out last night, and this completely took out that fair value gap, so we went straight in for that fair value gap. Consolidated, New York open, dropped down, went straight for that fair value gap at the top end that I just pointed out. Now I thought, because obviously we'd hit this fair value gap, we had unfinished business above here with all this space up here. One thing that I should have considered, which I didn't consider, was yesterday we had moved a lot in terms of pips to the upside. So Friday being the last day of the week, I should have expected that we were going to actually retrace, and I had my bias wrong because I was bullish on GBPJPY, which wasn't the case in New York. So what happened is, prior to 7 o'clock right there, you can see, I'll jump down into the 1 minute chart because it will make more sense on what I did. I'll scroll back here. So this is the same chart, and there's prior to 7 right there. So prior to 7, we went straight for that fair value gap, came down, we broke down, retest here into that fair value gap, and what should have happened was I'd marked out this low. Now, being bullish, which I shouldn't have been bullish on GBPJPY because we had moved prior to New York a considerable amount to the upside, and the fact that today was Friday, I should have expected that we were going to get some sort of retracement, but first of all my bias was wrong. So that's the reason why I lost my trades today. So we came into 7 o'clock New York, straight away we broke right down. Market decided to make a little move up, and if my bias was correct, and I was correct in my bias that it should have been bearish, this could have been a possible entry. I'll move down into the 5 minute to show that we could have entered even on the 5 minute. So you can see on the 1 minute it's a little bit messy, but on the 5 minute it makes more sense. So you got this push up, there's your break of structure, and we push down, so we could have entered right here. But obviously going into the 3 minute time frame, we could have narrowed in our position, and we should have sold there. But that's not what I had seen, and that's the reason why I was wrong. You can see here, market again, push down, breaking this low. I'm thinking, okay, they were going for the low, they're going for the low one more time. So what I tried to do was I tried to buy GBPJPY. Now I assumed, which obviously was wrong, that this move was a big move and took out this short-term high, which is completely incorrect, and this entry was wrong. So I should have not entered in there. That was completely wrong. There was no validation for me to enter. That is not a good enough push. So therefore that was wrong. Even though all my entries were wrong, and the fact that my bias was wrong, which is the reason why my entries are wrong, this was definitely not a trade that I should have taken. So I lost one trade there, got stopped out there, had the stop loss below here, so you can see from this candle I got stopped out. Now when we got this move here, I thought this was a bit more significant because we had a bigger push and we broke with a bit more energy with these two candles. I decided to enter into the first fair value gap, which was here, and stops below the low again, and you can see the market played, and then boom, I got broke again here. Now at this point I should have reanalyzed what I was looking at and thinking, well, the market keeps making lower highs, so I should have stopped looking for buys and I should have looked for sells. Now that in hindsight I'm looking at the market, when this move happened, that's an energetic move to the downside, telling me that they want to continue to move down. There's the break of structure, there is the fair value gap. I should have entered a sell there or a sell in out of these candles right here, but that obviously wasn't the case. I still was stuck in my bias, which again, I'm saying this aloud is because I'm trying to teach myself to make sure that I should be able to shift my bias if I'm continually getting stopped out and it's wrong. So that was my first trade and that was my second trade, so I had one more trade left. My plan is I only have 3 trades. After that I'm out and I walk away. Market came down, broke down even more, and on this occasion I actually thought that, you know, I would have got some sort of I actually had the move, as they say. I thought that I'd caught it this time. So we had this energetic push up, consolidated a little bit, and then we had a push again. Again, this was not a break of structure because all we were doing is we were coming back to the same fair value gap that was supposed to be bearish in terms of bias. But I thought that this was going to be bullish, so I entered in here. There's a 5 minute fair value gap right here. I'll move into the 5 minute just to show you. So right there, what we had was we had this big push up. I'm thinking on the lower time frame we have had a break in structure, so there's the high, and I'm thinking this is a push up, fair value gap here on the 3 minute, and there's a 5 minute fair value gap there that I just showed, and I entered in the 5 minute fair value gap. Now when I went down into the 1 minute, I allowed the market to continue to come down. Now when the market came down here, I had my stops below this low. The market came down. It was playing around in this 1 minute fair value gap. This went just over, so I didn't think of it as a big deal. they were respecting the high on this candle, so therefore I accepted that and I was fine. So we were getting some sort of bounce here and push away, but as you can see, the market from here, that's where I got stopped out from a third trade in this candle, and it took out my stop. This candle not fully showing, but this candle came all the way down here, and obviously took out my stop that was here for this trade, and that was my third and final trade. I wasn't going to trade after this. Market decided to do one more push, and that was 10 o'clock. So after this entry, I was not going to enter because one, I'd entered 3 positions and I lost 3 times, but I was also not going to enter now because I was after 10 o'clock. So the market decided to push up one more time. There's a 15-minute fair value gap up here. It touched that fair value gap, broke down, came here, broke down, touched this fair value gap here, and then broke down even more. So that's what happened, and ultimately we've ended up here now for today's trading day, end of trading day. If I go into the daily time frame, you can see we've touched this fair value gap. Like I said yesterday, we moved massive amounts of pips up, and we moved prior to New York, so I should have thought that there would be some sort of retracement. Next week, obviously, I'm not going to let this hinder my analysis. Next week, I'm going to try and look more closely at the structure and see where I could possibly change my bias if need be. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. I made a mistake today. I made 3 losing trades. Thankfully, I had my stop losses in place, which meant that I didn't lose all my profits for the week. So I'm still up for the week, but I had a losing day today. And obviously, I'm going to do more analysis over the weekend. And then Monday, we have a new trading day, and I'll start again and see if I can continue making good calls and good predictions into what GG is doing. So please like and subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys on Monday.